So Skewville started as a duo and has become a recognizable name in the street art world. Can you walk us through the evolution?
Wow, for sure, my pleasure. Well, thank you for having me, first of all. Skewville started in 1996. Me and my twin brother moved into a crooked house in Astoria, Queens. And the second we walked into the place, Drew's not here, so I'm gonna say it. I said it first. Welcome to Skewville. And the name just kind of stuck. We were the first kids of our group that moved out of our parents' house in Queens, because most kids, Italian kids who live in Queens, don't move out until the mid 30s, early 40s. We moved out when we were 26 years old, which is early for New Yorkers, because you live in the city. Like, why would you pay rent somewhere else? Your mom does your laundry. My dad found us this crooked, beat up house. It was $1,100. We both had our own floors. It was a tiny little space. And it was so messed up that the landlord was like, do whatever you want to it. So we tricked the whole house out. Every wall was a different color. And it just became this place that everyone came to. Because again, all of our friends lived at home. So everyone was like, we're going to Skewville. And it just became a place before it became an entity, or for lack of a better word, a brand. Because people are like, oh, I love your brand. I'm like, oh, it's not a brand, it was our lifestyle. That's kind of how it started. And then it evolved into the many different galleries we ran. Every place we moved to was called Skewville. Every gallery was called Skewville. Every font, typeface, like all the style just came to be known as Skewville.
Awesome. What first inspired the idea of launching sneakers on telephone wires, and did you ever imagine it would become such an iconic installation?
As kids, we always saw sneakers hanging on telephone wires in our neighborhood. So it just became this thing where like you saw something that someone else did, so you also wanted to do it. So as kids, we threw up our Converse, because that's what I wore as a kid also, up on the power lines. And then years later, when we moved into Skewville, and we were noticing the change of street art, or we were noticing the change of graffiti into street art, how stickers became popular and all this stuff. We already been through the graffiti scene. We were already taggers in the 80s. We put up stickers for our projects and stuff. And then we were kind of actually looking to somehow interact with the streets. We noticed Shepherd Ferry, WK, Bass. We noticed the beginning of all this stuff, and there was an urge to be part of it, but not necessarily we're going big time with this. It was just this urge as an artist to want to be involved, sort of like the streets calling your names. But we knew the wall space was cluttered. We knew the We Pay spots were taken. We knew the poles were taken. So we were literally looking for a new media space, for lack of a better word. So we went to California. We saw Shepherd Ferry everywhere. And we saw the telephone wires and the cable car wires. And then that's when we need to put stuff on the wires. So the sneakers weren't the first idea. There was a few other corny ideas, but one of the great ideas, which we still haven't done yet, was let's make kites and fly them into telephone wires and write "The sky is falling," which I don't know if would go as big time as sneakers. And then my brother, I'll give him credit, even though he's not here. He was like, why don't we do sneakers? So came home, made the first pair right away. We made 12 pairs. We called them the Disciples. Wherever we walked in our neighborhood in this couple of block radius, we threw them up. And then we would just look them and watch them. So it wasn't until a few months later, we did a road trip to Ohio, and we're like, yo, let's make more sneakers. And then we made 100 and something pairs. And then we were just the rush of getting up, and it's kind of the same graffiti, I guess, enthusiasm, just wanting to have your shit up everywhere. And the rush and the thrill of doing it. And the funny thing is, it's not illegal, but it feels illegal. It has this sort of vandalous vibe to it, even though cops stopped us and what are you doing? I'm like, don't worry, I'm gonna take them down. And then they just drive away. So it was always this thing, but I guess in that moment of doing it, we knew we had something. We just, we didn't realize, we probably knew at that point we were going to do it for 25 years. And that's how long we've been doing it.
So tell us a little bit about the piece you contributed to Little Red and Vandal Wolf and what inspired your visual approach.
Okay, so most of the times when we go out and throw up sneakers, we always bring extra stuff with us too, because in the area where we throw sneakers, we'll always do a little ground intervention too. So the stamp is always something we bring with us when we do street mission. So we try and do a couple of different things when we go out on the street, so it's not you're just looking up for sneakers. So the yo stamp was another technique to just do different things. In the beginning, when we were just known for sneakers, that's all people knew us for. So then that's why we started doing other things to throw people off, like, who is this? We never sign our name on anything. It's never like an Instagram next to a tag, which I think is wrong. But I feel like it's better for people to stumble across stuff and be like, you also do the yo? I see that everywhere. And then that's when you know it's time to start doing something else.
That's awesome. And I'm seeing you're wearing your yo.
Yes.
And you got pillows with the yo.
Yes, these were the only two of its kind, but coming to a store near you soon.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Can you explain the stamp technique again a little bit more?
So it's not a rubber stamp that we make. We call it street stamp because it's a specific material that's patent pending. No, that's not true. It's a specific material that you used to be able to buy on Canal Street, and I'm not going to tell you, so everyone's going to rip it off. But a lot of kids you'll see make stamps out of foam rubber, which don't last, and they don't stick to certain material on the street. This is like some type of felt material that sinks into brick and has like a spongy kind of effect. So the idea was like to get past stencils and just come up with a new tool for the streets to get up with, So that's Drew's intervention or Drew's technology to our street mission. Drew doesn't do interviews.
Oh.
And I don't invite him. But no, Drew's that's not true. Drew would just be sitting here nodding his head or shaking either up or down. So it's fine. If you need anything Skewville, you call me, don't call Drew.
How would you describe the Skewville aesthetic to someone who's never seen your work before?
It's a tough question because you'd have to see the work to actually know what the aesthetic is. And I feel like the beauty of Skewville and the work that we've done is throughout the years, we never have a consistent topic or style. There's many different things that we do, from architecture, obviously the house, to furniture, to paintings, to prints and other stuff. And there's an overlying graphic sense to it all. The typeface, the blocky typeface, which I love when people see a similar font. They're like, someone stole your font. I'm like, I stole that font from somebody else. So the beauty of an aesthetic is like, I feel like if you just keep doing the same thing for a long enough time, people think it's yours. Like, people called me other artists out because I didn't invent this color palette. It's Mondrian. It's like just using these basic colors. And the funny thing is, people like, where do you get your inspirations for these colors? It's not really Mondrian. These are New York bodega colors. Red and yellow next to each other, and like with that tint of blue or any of those combinations, have a real New York vibrancy, supermarket like feel to it. So I think the aesthetic, I would say, is maybe pop, supermarket, consumer, but you don't have to buy it vibe.
How has the changing landscape of New York influenced your work?
Ooh, has it influenced my work or has it not? Let me speak specifically to street art, if you don't mind, because I feel like there's a general sense of New York losing flavor across all platforms. And I feel it's similar in the street art scene is too, because back in the early days, I don't think anything was bad. I think it was evolving. and then you kind of just were inspired by seeing stuff. But I guess it's like anything, when you see it too many times, you kind of I get desensitized to it too. I just appreciate when I was born and how I grew up in my entire life, just witnessing the change of, you know, being an 80s kid to seeing the evolution to then experiencing the 90s where stuff was totally different, and then early 2000s. And I feel like there's definitely a change in every decade, but maybe more recently it's been a little stagnant. So the inspiration, I feel like, has to come from within to like break out. I mean, most of the times I don't leave my block. That's why I started a gallery in my backyard. Have everything come to us, even the interview.
No.
So it's hard because I guess you don't really realize what inspires you till it's gone. Because the things that I would see now, I don't think I'm necessarily would pull from that. I guess the truth too is like the older you get, you feel a nostalgia to certain things. But I feel in answer to the other question before too, the Skewville aesthetic is very nostalgic. Even though it might have not a time period on it, I feel like a lot of us are always looking back to our childhood when it was good. But I also feel like I've never grown up, so everything is here now. Yeah, we grew up in a family with 11 people at the dinner table. We had 4 children. My parents had 4 kids, and we also at one point had 4 foster children and a grandmother at the dinner table. So you always learn to share. You have to. You learn to just like be part of this community. And I feel like that's what Skewville was, is people always came to our house growing up. And I feel like all of our galleries and the events that we run are an extension of our childhood. Basically people coming to us and to share just to share our space and stuff. So I always like, when I talk about Skewville, I always say we, because it kind of like takes the pressure off of me to like have to run everything, even though I take on a lot of the burden. But I also like to share the credit with a lot of people. Even though Drew's not here, he still gets half the credit.
He's sitting there.
You know, and
spirit.
my life in yellow, who runs the gallery, curates all the show, does all the back end work, deserves the spotlight too. But again, this is my interview, so.
we'll get her on camera later.
Yeah.
In her official curating spot there.
Yeah.
Perfect. So what's your take on street art in the age of social media? Do likes and follows change the game?
So it's kind of a huge contradiction, because street art has to be seen on the street, not on your phone. So what I love about having this space here and people just stumbling upon it, and they come down an alleyway in Bushwick and they're like, oh my God, how come I never heard about this place? I'm like, because we don't have 1 million Instagram followers, which I love and kind of despise at the same time, because like everyone wants more credit for something. But again, it comes back to this family tradition of like people coming to your house and actually you're meeting people in person, you're actually seeing art in person as opposed to just seeing it online. There's a huge disconnect. It's not street art anymore when you're internet famous or you're just famous on Instagram. I feel like that kind of takes away from the experience of just stumbling across stuff. What is even street art anymore? It's gone beyond the street. And like people say, oh, I'm a street artist. I'm like, oh, what do you do? And they're like, oh, I painted a mural. I'm like, okay, I don't know if I guess that's street art. You are on the street. But I feel like street art has a specific term for us, is where it was post graffiti. It's like, it didn't have that same aesthetic as graffiti, raw tagging style. It was posters, stickers, and an evolution of actually work on the street. And then I guess when it comes to commission stuff or legal stuff, to me, I feel like because I was doing it illegally for so long, like that's where you draw the line. Call it something else. And because you can't call street art graffiti, because graffiti has a different aesthetic than street art does. So why are we calling murals street art? Call it something else. But I guess you have to throw everything into one hat. I don't know. I just sound old and bitter, but I feel like I'm a real street artist.
No. It's, you sound educated about the history of it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people come in and that's not their background. So they come with a very minimal understanding, and they need to hear people like you.
And they do a legal mural, they get 1 million followers, and they call themselves a street artist, and you're like, damn it.
You're like, hello. So on that humorous note, I was going to say humor is a big part of your work. And what role does sarcasm or playfulness serve in your artistic voice?
I feel like no one should take themselves that seriously, especially art. Like, come on. Like, if you get to do this for your lifestyle, you should be happy and not take it too seriously. There's a few artist friends like, you're in the spotlight, you should be talking more about politics. And I'm like, that's how you lose fans, by getting too serious. We grew up in a big household where humor was your weapon. You know, there's a lot, like, you're fighting for food at the dinner table. So it's like, you know, you have to kind of insult somebody to not want to eat that so that you can, you know, it's like, you just kind of use humor. That's a little rough. But you know what I'm saying? Like, we always just kind of use humor to, like, offset hard times, or just, like, to bring things back to light. Because that's all we have, is just to be happy, you know? And art, you shouldn't take art too seriously.
And I think all the viewers are going to now want to see what's going on behind you in your beautiful gallery, in your backyard, by the way. And I haven't filmed the front of the house either yet. So
nice. Maybe
you would be nice enough to show us around?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, perfect.
Yep. Hey, welcome to Skewville. Let me take you around back. You're in a movie.
Just say.
Wait, act cool.
Act cool, kind of funny.
Be like, oh. Oh, wait, there's cameras? Welcome to Skewville.
My lovely wife, the curator, lady in charge.
You're doing a great job. He was bragging about you, all the work you do and everything that you're doing behind the scenes, and he's getting credit for it.
Yes.
I put you above Drew, not above Drew.
Well, I appreciate the acknowledgement. Thank you.
So how long has this been open, like officially?
It's been almost 2 years that we've been doing gallery events, because it was the anniversary of the first show that we curated that wasn't Adam's work was in July, and it was the yellow show, where everyone who was selected to be in the show were only allowed to use yellow, black, and white. And so, because I go by my life in yellow is my favorite color. And so we covered all of the other colors in here and made everything only yellow. And all the artists had black, yellow, and white pieces. It was a lot of fun. So that kind of was like the catalyst. And then people were like, oh, can I have a show, can I have a show? And Dark Clouds was like, hey, can I have a show? And we're like, okay. And then from there, Stickman's like, hey, can I have a show? And we're like, oh, sure. And then our friend Jakey Jake, and it just has spiraled since.
And then I was like, oh, we're running another gallery? All right.
I
Let's
kept
do
kicking
it.
and screaming the whole way.
Let's do it.
Well, what was the plan in the beginning? Just
The plan was, I ran 2 galleries before. Artists are a pain in the ass to work with, all included. And then when I got this space, I'm like, I could finally have my own studio space. But after a few months, to be honest, I got bored. And then I met this lovely woman, and she got me out of the basement. So my studio's now in the basement, and this is what it is today.
Yeah. I think it's more fun with other artists.
For sure.
Hi, come on, welcome.
Oh,
Welcome to
You're in a
Skewville.
movie.
Hey, yeah. I live down the road. I've like never seen
You've
it.
never been?
No.
Where down the road? Are you like next door?
I'm literally on the side. I live on the side street. Yeah.
Holy shit, welcome.
I always tell people when the gates open, we're open.
Hey,
But
okay.
we do have an opening once a month. This is the closing weekend for the show.
Oh,
The next
okay.
opening is
May 3rd.
May 3rd.
6 to 10 p.m. There'll be
Beautiful.
tequila and good vibes.
I'll be there. May 3rd.
May 3rd.
yeah.
6 to 10.
Yeah, so we
Yeah.
have 2 new artists on the wall. There'll be 2 female artists. Both do abstract work. One does more like painterly, paint stroke artwork, and the other one is very meticulous with lines and color and geometric.
Interesting.
So it'll
Okay.
be
And
interesting.
free booze. We start and end with that.
I totally There's free booze.
So it's each time you bring like a new artist thing to kind of add to the.
Yeah.
A lot of it's focused on street art. So
Yeah.
these 2 artists currently, Matt Siren and Roycer, are OG street artists. They've been on streets for 20 plus years. Born and raised in New York. Roycer's out of Harlem. Matt Siren's out of Queens. And so it was just an opportunity to have street artists because they're our friends, they're our community.
Yeah.
But then we also do have some fine artists as well
Yeah.
on occasion.
That's
but
so
it's
cool.
focused mostly on street art.
I love this.
Thank
I
you.
love living in this neighborhood. Just perfect, yeah. Oh my gosh. And so you guys have an event today or like just coming off? Like you said you're
Yeah, we have music events, comedy events. We're going to do a poetry event too.
You're following me.
It was great when she saw that, like, turn around.
How is
Yeah,
the
I love it.
selection process?
You never know.
When
You never know. You never know.
Is there like a form you fill out or how do?
So a lot of people come and they ask me for a show here, and I'm like, I'm just the janitor. You have to talk to my wife, my life in yellow. She's the curator. But the truth is, most of the shows here are friends that we know. We know everybody. Like we're still pretty new here for the last 2 years, but every show is people we know and we respect. You know, and then I think in the next years coming, we're always trying to find new artists, but don't talk to me because I just sweep the floors. That's the lady who to speak to.
How many shows a year on average?
On average, I want to say 8, 9. Might be up to 10 now because we've squeezed a few people in. So
As curating Skewville, do you have now like sort of a rhythm of how you're curating it? Are people coming to you months in advance or
we
you have-
plan the year in advance.
Okay.
And so the gallery closes down for the winter between December, January, February. And then we were supposed to take off on March, but then we ended up squeezing in more shows. And during that dark time that the gallery's closed, we're thinking about who we want to have the next year. Because we like to plan the whole year in advance so that we can properly market, properly do promotion, versus just coming up last minute being like, oh, here, no wait, let's do this. So a lot of people come and go like, can I be in a show? I'm like, well, maybe in 2026, because we're booked at this point.
But UFO did come to us and was like, can I do a show? I'm like, dude, we thought you were too big time. He's like, no, I wanted this. So we scored
Well, you sacrificed your show.
for
For him.
UFO.
Yes. So he gave himself only 1 weekend versus 3 weeks, so that UFO could have a show. So.
Wow, generous.
I know, very generous. So we're excited to have UFO, and we're excited to have all the people that are in this year. And there's always people that you wish it could have fit in, but it just didn't work out. But there's always next year and the year after that. So. And then we have group shows like Sac 6, who's doing stretches on the pole out there. Sac 6 is curating one of our group shows. So
When is that? When is that group show?
that is on May 28th. It's the same day as the Bushwick Collective.
Oh,
So it's going to be a t-shirt show where artists are submitting an art piece and to be on a t-shirt.
oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Right on. Okay, that's good. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
We appreciate it.
Of
We're
course.
very excited to be in here and filming Skewville and filming you as well and hearing all about what you're doing as a curator here. It's really amazing and special and unique and nothing,
Yeah.
more people should know about this space for sure.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been really exciting, and I have to say it's enhanced my life a lot to be able to give the opportunities to people to be on the walls. I don't know, it's magical. It's really magical.
Definitely.